with this report?
All of a sudden, I saw these boys, numbered about 12, coming into the police station.
NDC MP Nilante Vanderpoel recounting the attack on him. His car is still parked in front of the Jamestown police station with the two back tires deflated. He alleges the men who attacked him were led by an individual he believes to be a national security operative.
The leader of the group is called Akpo, or One Face. He's a national security operative. Then his senior brother, Newkaya Mas, nicknamed Tenjin. Then there is Akofi, who is a boxer. Then there's Kola, who is a footballer. There is Nana. Nana is a nephew to Akpo and Newkaya Mas. Then there's Kudi. Then there's Chris, who also claimed to be a national security operative. And then others. Well, they've been close with the MPP parliamentary candidate all this while. During the registration sites, there were several instances where these boys were brandishing weapons, shooting discriminately, harassing people, intimidating people. In here,
this has left him in pain.
And also in my eye. You know, I've had problem with my eye in the past, so a little bit of pressure on my eye makes me a bit distant, and I'm also feeling pain in my chest where I was hit twice. But apart from that, within my spirit, I'm good.
But NPP parliamentary candidate Nilante Bannerman is disputing this narration. He says the individuals are not national security operatives.
From what I gather, there are these boys who have converted from the NDC to MP. And I think they have scores to settle with the MP. That I'm not going to condone. And I've told them, if they have issues with him, they should find ways of settling it. He, as an MP, should also find ways of approaching these guys and settling whatever scores he has with them, so that these things will not be happening. This has nothing to do with NDC or MPP people clashing. No. It's purely an internal thing in the NDC that because of that, the people have even defected to the MPP.
So do you know these persons who assaulted Mr. Vanderpoel?
From the names that he alleged, I know them. If what he is saying is true, then I know the boys. Because he mentioned names, and I know the names he mentioned. And I'm telling you on authority, they are not security operatives, none of them. In fact, the only person in there who is a national security operative, he is only mentioning the person's name, but the person was not there.
The Jamestown police says it has commenced investigations into the matter.
You heard a report put together by my colleague Joseph Akable. He's been following that issue, but thankfully we've been joined on the phone by the Odododio MP Nilante Vanderpoel. We're grateful for your time here on Newsnight. First off, how are you feeling? How are you doing now?
I'm feeling very better.
Well, so we know that the investigations are underway, but a few issues have come up. Mr. Bannerman, for instance, in that interview we just played excerpts of, has mentioned that these men that you claim attacked you, they have scores to settle with you. They were former members of the NDC. Can you clarify that for us? Is that the case?
It's not true. I'm surprised somebody who wants to be a leader in this country can open up his mouth and lie like this. I'm surprised. I'm utterly shocked that somebody could lie like this to cover up such an animalistic behavior. I can't believe it.
Where the lie is that these persons were never NDC members, they have not defected, and they don't have a score to settle with you.
They're not.
You know these
and they've
guys?
never been.
You know them?
I can give it. Look, the one he's talking about, he just launched his campaign last week. And the guy who was mentioned as the security liaison of the campaign, is he telling me that the guy just defected from NDC to this party and he's made him a security liaison of his party?
So they were never NDC members and they don't have a score to settle with you. But do they have a score to settle with you?
He should show me one of them having an NDC card, NDC membership card. They've never been.
So you never had any relationship of a sort with these guys?
I won't deny having a relationship with them. I have a relationship with everybody in Odododio, be it NDC or MPP.
What kind of relationship do you have with these particular guys?
Look, Emefa, my doors are open to anybody, whether you are NDC. Let me tell you, I have facilitated recruitment of NDC persons into security services and employment. I've facilitated NDC members. I work for everybody in the constituency. I don't work for any one person. When you come to me, I don't ask whether you are NDC or MPP. Because as I speak today, I'm the member of parliament for Ododo, not the member of parliament for NDC supporters in Ododo. So I don't do that.
But it's curious that these are people that you've helped before.
If I can give you a background.
Just a minute, if I may. These are people you've helped, even secured jobs for them in security operatives and all. How then do they turn around and attack you the way they did? Not these particular ones, I mean, because you just mentioned.
I've not secured job for any of these people who were involved in this case.
But you mentioned that you had a relationship with them.
I have a relationship because I know them.
Okay.
They are in my community.
Okay.
They've come to me one way or the other before. Look, there is this boy, Akofi, who came to me that he hasn't got a manager to manage him as a boxer. I said, fine, I will support you until you get a manager. I know he's MPP, but I was happy, man. There is other one scholar who said he wanted a football team. This time, if you don't know anybody, you won't get any. I recommended him for trials at various clubs. I do. Then I've made them NDC supporters.
But it's surprising that people you know in the manner that you've talked about will turn around and attack you the way they did.
Look, when people are being used, they never think that they are being used. Because people have told them, look, one of the Newcomer has recently been employed by National Security, and he was made a bodyguard to Hawa Kumte. Was he NDC? If he was NDC, why would you make a bodyguard to Hawa Kumte? So NDC people defected, came to MPP, and all of a sudden MPP have decided to put guns in their hands.
Well, we're still working the line to get Mr. Bannerman. Earlier, his aide told us that he was on a door-to-door campaign. But one of these issues that he raised earlier in that interview is that these men are not national security operatives like you claim.
Akpo is a national security operative. Yoka Man is a national security operative. Chris is a national security operative. If you want, I can give you pictures of all of them. These are the same people who are going around during the registration time, brutalizing people, shooting indiscriminately around in the constituency. Several reports were made. The Dimstan police, the railway police, no action has been taken.
Well, but he mentions that, yes, Akpo is a national security operative, but he wasn't at the scene, as you claim.
Akpo was the one who hit my chest. Akpo was the one who hit my chest twice.
But in all this, while the attack was ongoing, because this happened at the Jamestown police station premises, where were the police? What happened? Did they intervene? What actually happened?
It was in the evening, and there were only two police officers at the counter, a lady and a young guy. The lady, a papa, and the young guy, a constable. Emefa, I owe my life to them because they are the ones who came in between us and were able to push us into the police station itself and lock us up in the CID room, CID office. I don't know what will have happened because these guys were brandishing weapons and knives.
Well, and since then, have you heard anything from the police? We are told that the investigations are underway.
The district commander called me and said that they hope I'm doing fine. He will be waiting for me tomorrow to come and do a formal statement, and then they will pursue the case from there. The divisional commander has also called that they'll be expecting me to come also to the ministry's police station and also see the divisional commander. So I'll just be waiting for them tomorrow. I will go to them and see what action they will take.
Well,
I'm also tomorrow going to lodge a formal complaint with the Speaker of Parliament.
I'll just come into that because knowing that you are an MP, whether you're going to take any further actions, beyond the police investigation.
I will.
Okay.
I will, because my privilege as a member of Speaker, a member of Parliament has been, insulted and infringed upon.
Okay. We are grateful and we thank God that you are But I hope the concern for some is that there may be a reprisal from your supporters in the area. Is there anything you're doing to ensure that doesn't happen?
If the police will do their work and take action deserving of them as responsible professional officers and deal with them the way they should deal with them, fine. But if they don't, definitely they will be telling the people that if their MP could be slapped and beaten up by people for nothing, then they should be ready to also defend themselves.
But would that be the way to go, Mr. MP?
So the police should act, because this thing has continued. They've beaten up people during registration several times. Look, a whole pastor of the Shekinah Praise Chapel was beaten up by these boys at the Railways police station. Up to today, no arrest has been made.
Well, Nilante Van Der Poel, we're grateful for your time. We wish you well, and that's the MP for the area. Evans, I must say that I've tried to reach the Divisional Police Commander, Chief Superintendent Bonsu, and then also DSP Tieku, who is at the Jamestown Police Station. They are all unable to speak to us just yet. They've referred us to the Greater Accra Region Police Command, that's DSP Efiatenge. And then also we've tried with the Public Affairs Director, Sheila Beye Backman in Efiatenge. It's been unsuccessful so far. As and when we're able to reach them, we'll speak to them.
At least Nilante confirms that the police chiefs have made contact with him and asked him to come over tomorrow, while the opposition National Democratic Congress meanwhile says a future government led by its flag bearer John Mahama will prosecute these individuals should the police fail to act. Sami Jemfi is communications officer.
But this is yet another incident of brutality on leading members of the National Democratic Congress and innocent civilians by hoodlums, government-sponsored hoodlums belonging to the ruling New Patriotic Party. It's happened. It's been one too many. The Ayawaso West Wagon violent incident is still fresh in our minds. But these thugs have been emboldened to engage in more brutalities and atrocities against NDC supporters and members of the public because they've been shielded. Crime is crime, and there is no statute of limitation to the prosecution of crime. Crime has no expiry date. And so we are law-abiding citizens. That is why we have done the needful in accordance with due process and the rule of law by reporting the matter to the police. We expect that investigations will be conducted and the perpetrators brought to book. But should they be left off the hook, like the perpetrators of the Ayawaso West Wagon violence were left off the hook, and like the perpetrators of the Banda violence and all the other violence incidents we witnessed during the voter registration exercise before, during, and after have been left off the hook by their chief sponsor, President Akufo-Addo, they should know that they will not walk free forever, because surely the day of reckoning, the day of accountability is coming for them, and they will answer for their crimes. That is all we have to say.
That's Sami Jemfi, the National Communications Director of the NDC.
You're still listening to Newsnight on Joy 99.7 FM. Share your thoughts with us. Shortly, we'll share it with the rest of the world. But Emefa, do you recall that story of the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation donating some 5 million Ghana cedis to the IOCO, the Economic and Organized Crime Office? It was such a big deal. Well, guess what? The Public Accounts Committee sittings are back, and it was a top headliner today when the committee sat. The Rebecca Foundation also received part of the money, Chihine, among others, in the name of corporate social responsibility. At today's sitting, the Ningo Prampram MP, Samuel George, produced a 29th October 2019 letter from GNPC's board secretary, Matilda Ahene, to the CEO, communicating the board's approval of the donations and sponsorships. Well,
the deputy CEO of the GNPC was also there, Joseph Dazi, and he told the committee that he did not have the full details of the issue, as it is the GNPC Foundation which runs such sponsorship and donation activities. Now, this prompted Chairman of the Public Accounts Committee, James Kluti-Aveji, to question why the GNPC board was approving the donations instead of the GNPC Foundation's Board of Trustees.
Well, tempers flared as MPP MP on the committee, Mohammed Hadi Tafaru, intervened, questioning why the committee chairman was interrogating the issue when it's not part of the 2017 Auditor General's report that the committee was looking at. Now, James Aveji in the midst of the heated exchanges, dared the MPP MP to take over his position as chairman of the of this particular committee if he feels something wrong is being done?
So, Honorable Chair, respectfully, I mean, these are issues that probably we need to come back to the committee with responses. But in terms of the accounting, even when payments are made on their behalf, it's counted against the budget that has been approved by the GMPC board.
My question has not been answered.
Yes,
I just want to know the reason why some payments should be made on behalf of the foundation, and then you count it against them.
You said they are appearing before this committee to answer to audit issues reported by the Auditor General. They have not prepared on this matter that you have subjected them to now. So,
Honorable,
very interesting question. Usually in the past, let's be consistent in the application of the rule.
Honorable member.
In the past, before you approve for somebody
Honorable member, will you listen to me? I'm the chair of the committee. What's your problem? What is your problem?
Let's apply the rules consistently. Consistency is the basic rule. Let's apply consistency.
The rules are that we allow public interest questions. That's the rule.
You will subject it to approval.
Which approval? Which approval?
By the chairman himself.
And I have approved. I have approved. I have approved. If I approve public interest question, I don't have the responsibility to call you the deputy ranking member of the committee to tell you that I have approved this public interest question. I don't. I'm the chair of the committee. If you want to take over, come and take over.
Well, the public account sitting 3 months to an election, it's fireworks all the way. And this is what, day one?
Just day one.
Oh, goodness me. A lot in store in the next few days. Guess what? The MPP MP and ranking member on the committee, Kofi Ocho-Ejekum, says the minority is pursuing, guess what?
Political mischief.
That your colleagues had raised, asking Yoko about the money that has been spent as corporate social responsibility to
the committee to agree that this is okay, what we normally call public interest question. But you see, we as a committee should not be questioning people who are not before us. Yoko is not before us. GMPC Foundation is not before us. So whom are you asking the question? Unless you want to do political mischief. Do you understand what I mean? So I think it was not the appropriate place for it because those people were not before us, and they are not issues raised by the Auditor General. So it was inappropriate. It was simply politicking, and we as a committee try to avoid such things. Because we can also, the other side can also do things like that. And I don't think it will then, derail the objective of the committee. We are supposed to look at issues impartially, devoid of political, if you like, political strategies and that sort of thing. So the question was not appropriate. It was not for the forum.
But as a question, a public interest question, shouldn't the public be interested if GNPC is spending up to $5 million or so, including money that's going to chiefs and money that's going to locals, and demanding answers on that?
Organizations, corporations, ministries spend money for public interest and all that. They spend money on all sorts of things. But the point I'm making is that it is not up to us. You see?
It's not the people's representative, then who? Then who should be asking those questions?
It is not up to
because
us.
Obviously GMPC money is the same.
It's not up to us to judge the wisdom of that thing.
My colleague Joseph Gakpo has been covering this all day. Joins us on the telephone line. Joseph, how was this resolved?
So eventually, the decision was that GNPC would come back subsequently at a date and time that the committee will actually agree on subsequently and come respond to questions on this. There's an issue that came up in October 2019, the indication being that if it's supposed to come through the normal route of the report of the Auditor General and looked at by the Public Accounts Committee, then chances are that the committee will be looking at it in like 2022 or 2023, because now they're looking at details of 2016 that emerged in the 2017 report. But in resolving this, the committee decided that they would have to agree on a subsequent date that the GMP will return with further answers on this.
Okay, thank you very much, Joseph. Joseph is a parliamentary correspondent, still listening to Newsnight. It's on Joy 99.7 FM. Still ahead, Joy News' election brief introduces new segment with a focus on bringing microphones to the voters, to the views on issues that will influence your votes. You want to stay with us for a teaser of that later on here on the news. Also, Aviation Minister opens up about lack of a financial viability study for Cape Coast Airport proposed in the MPP 2020 manifesto.
I'm just asking about, have we done a viability assessment?
About the developer will have to come and do that.
So we don't have a viability assessment.
We cannot go about doing everything for partners who come and...
So as of today, you don't know whether it is commercially viable to have an airport in Cape Coast or not?
All the airports you cannot really tell. There's always a viability gap on all the airports in Ghana. No airport is viable in Ghana.
No airport is viable in Ghana. Details of that after business. George Afe is here with the latest. Hello, George.
Hi, Vincent. Coming up, security industry players lament sector's confidence hit badly over delays in paying locked up funds, and court throws out MTN's application for judicial review of significant market player charged by the National Communications Authority. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essentials. And First National Bank, we are the bank that understands your business. First National Bank, how can we help you?
Look at you, the big boss.
You know they hear.
You know they fear who?
Until somebody says, I will tell your mother.
That's why we say wear a mask, or else
we will call your mother.
Hey, why are you disgracing me? Why your mask?
Wear it for her. Wear it for me everywhere you go. MTN. Visit wearit4.me to send a message to someone.
We give you nothing but the best. We stay above the rest. More quality, more affordability. Kingdom Books and Stationery. Everybody's going to the one and only shop where customer satisfaction is a guarantee. Kingdom Books and Stationery.
Oh yes, with our 30 days credit facility with no interest charge, free delivery services, and our free consultation on setting up your office, Kingdom Books and Stationery is unmatched in our delivery of quality and affordable office essentials, equipment, and furniture.
Experience world-class customer service in all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Takoradi.
Call us on 0302-764-101
or visit our website at www.kingdomgh.com.
Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all office essentials and stationery. Terms and conditions apply.
Puma Drinks, ready to add flavor to your life? Puma Drinks, bursting with so many flavors, you just can't have enough.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Let's now settle for the details. And MTN's application for a judicial review of the significant market player tag by the National Communications Authority has been dismissed by an Accra High Court presided over by Justice J. Asiedu. The move could mean that the National Communications Authority may be able to go ahead and implement some antitrust regulations which they view as ensuring some balance in the industry. MTN went to court when he thought that that view or that tag actually wasn't done in the right proportion to ensure that they get a fair hearing on it. It's not clear whether MTN may seek a review again of that issue to ensure or to put a brakes on NCA before they could go ahead and implement that application, and what that will mean for the whole telecoms industry. To other stories, and Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is making a strong case for debt forgiveness for Ghana and other African countries because of COVID-19. The minister made the call after the country was announced as the formal host for next year's African Development Bank annual meeting, as well as he being elected as chairman of the Board of Governors of the African Development Bank.
As we all know, the African finance ministers have made certain propositions with the AU envoys and with UNECA and Vera Songwe. Have proposed a number of solutions for Africa's debt situation. A, to extend the debt standstill from the G20s for 2 more years, to look at the reallocation of unused and or possibly new SDRs to support what we deem to be the need for $100 billion a year of financing each year for the next 3 years, and also to create a liquidity facility or special purpose vehicle to find a way to credit enhance so we can have greater access and cheaper financing for the work ahead.
Well, the finance minister today performed his official function duty as the chairman of the board of governors of the bank in Ivory Coast, where he presided over the ceremony and administered the oath of office for Dr. Akim Adesina, who is actually going to enjoy the next 5 years as president of the African Development Bank. The Ghana Securities Industry Association is lamenting that the sector's confidence has been impacted badly because of delays in getting investors' funds being paid. The consensus coming after some investment firms that have had their funds locked up with these liquidated banks or microfinance companies are yet to secure their money from the receiver. They are worried that out of the 1.58 billion Ghana cedis expected to be paid, only 87 million Ghana cedis have been paid, which even is actually a fraction of the agreed funds that should be paid to them. Let's hear from Mariam Desene. She actually is Executive Secretary of the Ghana Association of Securities Industry.
We've not said that government has gone back on their word on how payment should be structured. We're saying that we've not received what was promised, which is a bit different. But more importantly, we're also saying that our sector has been paid a fraction of what other sectors have received. Things were bad enough. Government communicators messaging the public 96% of affected clients have been paid makes the poor situation much worse. Fund managers have not seen the money, and neither have their clients. And this disconnect is hurting the sector badly. Indeed, the delay in paying the funds is affecting the industry, in that it has led to a lack of confidence in the industry and obviously a serious liquidity squeeze. Where still, there are real people out there who are suffering, who have been calling on us. We would say that if depositors in other sectors have been paid X%, we should be paid the same and in cash. Beyond that, the public messaging should reflect the facts on the ground.
The Executive Secretary of the Ghana Securities Industry Association. Now, more airlines have resumed specialized flights to Accra. Now, this follows the opening of Kotoka International Airport for international travels. It's coming after easing of COVID-19 restrictions as a result of the reduction in active cases. Now, Dutch carrier KLM, Portuguese airline TAP were the first set of commercial airlines that actually landed at Kotoka Airport today. They were offering specialized service and chartered flights that is operated by Talu Oil. Ethiopian Airlines has communicated that it is also expected to begin some scheduled flights from September 3. Now, Enjoy Business understands that full scheduled flights is expected to begin from September 7 this year. Meanwhile, the Aviation Minister Kofi Adda has hinted of plans to sanction airlines that fail to fully comply with the new COVID-19 protocol following the easing of these restrictions. He has been speaking on PM Express with Evans Mensah.
Then when you arrive here, you must have evidence of that before we allow you into the country.
Okay.
It's mandatory. The airline to do that.
From the point of origin?
Exactly so.
Okay, so if you can't verify it, airline don't allow the person into the flight?
No. Okay. When you allow them on the flight, you allow them to come to Ghana, you're penalized on that.
What sanctions are they likely to face?
Well, they're going to charge a fee that's being negotiated between the Civil Aviation Authority, airport company, and the airlines.
Okay, so the airlines who pay this fee, they'll know this up front. Yeah. Let's also, this is important again if you're listening, do not get onto the aircraft if you don't have $150 to pay for the test when you arrive locally. That's your point you're making to them.
Indeed, you're advised to pay before get on. That's what the airline is supposed to do.
Wonder whether they will determine exactly how much fine the airlines will bear.
Well, it was being worked on before I left the office. I haven't got the final figure yet.
And that's Aviation Minister Kofi Adda speaking to Evans Mensah on PM Express. And Emefa, it looked like some of these airlines couldn't just wait. Today they actually commenced what you call specialized service to Accra. We had KLM, we had Portuguese airline TAP, and also we had an aircraft that service operated by Talu Oil, bringing in some officials here into Ghana. We understand that from September 7th, we'll see other airlines beginning full scheduled flights to Accra.
Well, and then you can both start jetting out.
I'm checking my big screen. There's a question that I've been asked to ask Emefa Apawu.
Which one?
Please ask Emefa to pronounce ANTWIBOS Ako before you end the news.
I think Elon is mistaking me for Sandra.
Just pronounce the name.
Enchibuesiako.
Okay. The way you've been rehearsing for the last.
They call Sandra to come and mention the same name. And
Yes.
let's see how it goes.
Yeah, but there are a lot of your messages that we have that we want to share with you now on the stories we've been looking at so far. This one from Musa says, the assault on Honorable Neil Antivanapo is condemnable, and if police fail to arrest those who did this, the next NDC government, after abrogating the killer, the Japadio, will go after those guys. That's Musa Abatua there.
Fuseni in Kaswa Zungu says the law should deal with anyone who the Public Accounts Committee will find culpable or misappropriation of funds.
Walanyo says, what's the problem if the GMPC funded a project that benefited Ghanaians? Isn't it better than funding sports activity in Brazil that resulted in nothing? He asked that question. Ernest in Taifa says the CSOs and the minority parliament should stop throwing wrong figures out there to make the government look bad out there.
Now, we have one from, it says, it's from Ni Ayikwe from Jamestown. He says, Neil Antivanapoy should know that what goes around surely comes around. I hope he remembers what he did to Neil Antibanaman at Jamestown in 2016. If it was wrong back then, I guess it's still wrong today. Now, Papa Ansa in Teshinungwa says, please tell NDC and NPP they should give us a break, always fighting among themselves. Why? Can their supporters respect each other's opinion? That's one from Papa Ansa. We also have one from Justice Abeku Newton Affair. He says, I unreservedly condemn such acts of utter lawlessness, irrespective of either who the perpetrators or victims are. However, Mr. Nilante Vanderpoy to be complaining of same today proves the point that indeed karma is. And these are some of your messages that you've sent in via WhatsApp. I have some also from Facebook. Those leaving the comments live on Facebook will go through them shortly here on Newsnight.
And I want to take you now to Domifasa because it's been raging for the last few weeks. And today we're hearing from the Paramount Chief himself, the Ochehino Sajifo Amecha for Repainting, is calling on the IGP to order the immediate arrest and prosecution of perpetrators of the Domifasa bloody clashes which left two military officers brutally assaulted.
Now, the chaos reportedly follows the invasion of a parcel of land by the Mpunyahene of Achimapeja, Bafo Kumankuma Sapon, who is claiming ownership. But in a strongly worded statement issued by the Ochehene, they said Bafo Sapon Kumankuma is not the Mpunyahene of Achimapeja. He is not recognized and accepted as a chief or a holder of any traditional authority in Achimebwakwa. Now, the State Secretary of the Achimebwakwa Traditional Council, Daniel Furiata, explains why they want the perpetrators picked up by the police.
The unlawful conduct of Bafo Sapon Kumankum was not authorized by the Ochehene, nor the Achimebwakwa Traditional Council. Indeed, Bafo Sapon Kumankuma does not wield any traditional authority within the traditional establishment of Achimebwakwa. He is not the Mpunyahene of Achimebwakwa. As a matter of fact, he is not the boundary chief. He has no authority to invade Domefase. There is a boundary dispute between Domefase and Ochimai. Achimebwakwa has lawful processes of going about the resolution of his boundary dispute. We have not authorized any invasion of Domefase. We have not authorized talks and hoodlums to cause mayhem in Domefase and to break down law and order. So we are calling on the IGP to thoroughly investigate the matter and arrest all the perpetrators, prosecute them. We have heard of these nefarious activities by Bafo Sapon Kumankuma. We have heard about his unlawful sand-winning activities in areas such as Tijamante and the rest of them. You know, we have heard about unlawful land sales by the same person. As a matter of fact, the Chebi Executive Council has, time without number, invited Bafo Sapon Kumankuma to respond to some of these allegations. But he had disrespected summons to appear before the Chebi Executive Council. So we are stating categorically that Achimebwakwa does not recognize Bafo Sapon Kumankuma as the Mpunyahene of Achimebwakwa. He has no lawful authority to carry out the kind of activities that he did carry out. And he did not do so on behalf of the Ochehene, nor the Achimebwakwa Traditional Council.
Well, the Mankralo of Ubon Traditional Area, Niado, says the back calls for the IGP to expedite action into this particular incident last month's bloody incident at Domefase.
I've already speak to my people that look, these people that I met them in the site, majority of them, they from Greater Accra here, and they cope with that man so-called Mpomiahene. So I never wonder, I'm not wonder about this statement at all. I'm very happy, and may God bless Ochehine. Yes, what I'm telling the government, I know the government itself know what he will do. You know, the man himself, he know what he will do with these people. I know that he will deal with those people because they were using this platform to demolish his government, which we some of us, we know that this thing that happened, there's a people behind that they want to demolish this government, and I believe that their working will never succeed. So I'm telling government to help us, we the Obom and its villages, to deal with those people. So man called Mpomiahene. We need to deal with them. I'm repeating again. IGP have to take in charge now because we are living in democracy. We are in the democracy area. You see, so we don't need the military, whereby all over about the military. No, that's why we have a police in this. So IGP now should come out. Even we are going to go to him. We are going to sit down with the IGP, and definitely we know this matter will be taken on.
And that's the Manklalo of
Obom Fase.
Now, this is your election headquarters. Now, President Akufo-Addo says his success in government should be measured by how happy, united, and prosperous a nation is, adding he has no ethnic agenda against any tribe in the country.
Now, the president, for the second time in less than a week, is in the Volta region, cutting sought for projects to start and assuring the region the deployment of military personnel prior to the start of the voter registration exercise was not targeted.
While addressing a debate of chiefs at Daklu, the president said after a struggling long and hard for the presidency, he will ensure equitable distribution of development in the country.
The deployment of the military personnel along our borders is an ongoing nationwide exercise and has been done across all our borders and not in the Volta region alone. 1,000 soldiers are currently the subject of this deployment, of which 163 are based along the borders of the Volta region. Their presence is to guard against potential terrorist attacks on our shores and to prevent the importation of the virus into our country, because of which we have closed our borders. They have not been stationed at our borders to execute any political or ethnic agenda. I, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, have struggled long and hard to become president of this country, and I measure my success in Ghana being a happy, united, and prosperous place for all her citizens. In my time as president, development has been distributed equitably to all parts of the country, and the impact of our policies has been felt by all.
President Akufo-Addo there. Now, the water project at Daklu and 4 other districts, when completed, we're told, will increase water coverage for the Volta region by up to 5%. Let's speak to correspondent Ivy Setoji. She joins us on the line. She's been following the president. Ivy, how dire is the water situation at Daklu and the 4 other districts in the region?
Very, to the extent that some areas have to share water with animals. In Anyako, for example, it has been there for decades. At Daklu, some residents, according to them, share water with animals and other districts. So it is very there in this district.
Well, the president has been giving some assurances to the people of these areas. Yes, so
he's been telling them that, for example, when we go to Amejopa, where the water commission, the water community water was commissioned, he said that the water will be able to send to other districts, other communities. In Daklu, after the project is completed, according to the president, will serve most districts. If that's apart from Daklu, North Tongu will also be served, as well as Central Tongu. So in that case, residents will not be able to travel long distances, especially women and children, in search of water.
I assure residents in this region the government has plans to increase further water coverage. Phase 4 of this project will be implemented soon for the benefit of communities in the remaining 2 districts. North Toronto and Whole West through the same funding source. And by the grace of God, and with 4 more years for Nana and MPP, include installation of booster stations, elevated concrete tanks, health and hygiene education, and environmental and social safeguards.
I want to bring in the MP for the area, Mr. Kwame Agboja, is on the telephone line. Mr. Agboja, this has been a long-standing challenge. I was there myself in 2016 with yourself. You must be pretty excited that the president is making some commitments to fix the problem.
First of all, Evans, good evening to you and Emefa. Indeed, when a president pays a visit to your community 4 times in less than 4 years, you must know he's looking for something. I also agree with you. During your joy ballot box, you were in Ataklu, and we talked about this particular project, and that we were waiting for the next financing to extend water to the 5 districts at the same time. Sadly, what happened today is a bit of a challenge to me. It's an ongoing project. Indeed, the last phase of the financing was approved just in April. But this is an ongoing project. For me, there was no need for the president to come and cut short. But there's something interesting, Emefa, your correspondent said. In the past, somebody said some people were sharing water with animals, and that person was made to apologize to a traditional area. But I just said your correspondent said that people are sharing water with animals in other group. But I can guarantee you, we are not going to invite your correspondent to apologize.
But I'm sure
we are not
you're
going to do that because we
picture.
don't think it's an issue. So, Evan, yes, this project was started. The intake and the treatment was built. In fact, the part of the Central Town are benefiting. Somewhere last year, the community called Adaklu Ahunda Boso actually funded the extension of that same water to their own community, which they are consuming now. I, in support with others, have extended that same water to a town called Adaklu Aveji. So indeed, that water is already in Adaklu somehow. But this is an extension that should lead to Agotime Ziope. But this phase, which is supposed to be the final phase, has been extended to phase 4 because the government is unable to fund the extension to the four other districts. So we are having to do a phase 4 instead of ending it phase 3. Okay. So this is not a new project. It's the character of the current president to cut off ongoing projects, and we can't fault him.
Well, Mr. Abuja, I'm grateful that you joined us. He's an MP for this particular area. Now, with less than 100 days to the December polls, the political heat is rising in spite of the COVID-19 pandemic. And as you know, your election headquarters has been bringing you all the details regarding political activities. Now, Election Brief, one of our flagship political shows on the Joy News channel, has been revamped, and the host of the show, Arba Kumsing, has, of course, been interacting with people at Mokala, a part of the new segment of the show we call the Voter's Voice, just to listen to the people as they talk about the issues of importance to them.
Never power, nature no hour. When you went power said, I could find Dorani, I took out for known by ya. I assume you about on a better. I assume young Kwani a pay. Your best I call every radio, so why did you be after? The Yapa is there. Will be a Benya Hotel or Mayim. Name of Nana, 4 more for Nana. Almost a 4 more for Nana. Mr. Mihun is here was September. I have 4 months for Nana. Nianta Mimikas 4 months for Nana is here. Nianti Bida. So Biaji for the 2 billion. Who about 3.5 years? Why do you want 35 billion? Yes, I'm more 4 years. And yet, I did Bia and a Beshe and Kong. Yeah, and call 4 more biome. You got 4 months. Not
So pretty heated conversation, and this is a new concept we're trying out to get you to talk. Essentially, we bring the microphones to you. We not to go to interfere with it. Put the microphone there in the community and allow the people to approach it and debate themselves. If you hear the issue, there are two key issues that people are mokola right to the heart of it. We're talking about. One is those who said to vote for MPP. They are happy with the free SHS, and so that's a key thing that we're saying in the sound that they will vote for Nana because of that. But then there's NDC, those who believe that Nana should go, say it's not only about free SHS, it's about everything else, about the perception of corruption and the monies they believe that had been spent. People really have been following the news, and they have their own views on this. Join us on Election Brief and expect the microphones and the community near you, approach it and talk into it.
Well, we'll stay on Election Brief because today was pretty heated as well. The PNC, they have 2 dates for their flag bearership race. We have the chairman putting out September 19, whereas we had in a separate development, the former flag bearer of the party, Edward Mahama, also announced 26 September as a date for the Congress following a National Council meeting. Listen to Mr. Bernard Mona. No, George Laurie Bayabo, who've been speaking to my colleague Araba Kumsing on Election Brief.
When NEC takes a decision, it is not right and it is not fair to come and box that decision to say that is Bernard Mona's decision. Bernard Mona has no decision. This decision of the 19th, this decision of the filing fees, this decision of setting up the Congress Committee are all as a result of the National Executive Committee of our party.
Mr. Bayobo, what is your understanding of what the agreement is with regards to when the party is holding its Congress?
As issued by the Council of Elders, the Congress will take place on the 26th of September.
I'm sure you just heard your chairman, Bernard Mona. He says it's 19th, but you say 26th.
No, it's not the 19th. It is 26th of September.
Please, I am of Northern origin, and I respect leaders who also want to be respected. This Council of Elders, upon several calls to the chairman of the Council of Elders, declined to even pick my call. You go and issue a statement running down the decision of NEC. So how will the party function if the structures are not working? Council of Elders is not an institution on its own. It is an institution created by NEC. Why are we doing that when we are elders?
Can you agree on one date to hold this particular Congress? We're just entering September. We are less than 3 months away from the election.
If the Council of Elders will behave like a Council of Elders to want to listen to the National Executive Committee.
Interesting.
So that's Bernard Mona. They're raising concerns about the Council of Elders.
Well, just imagine tonight that government is yet to conduct a financial viability